All right, we are live. Greetings, positive trenders. I hope everybody had a great trading day today. Or, sorry, greetings, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great trading day today. Yeah, let me see what we got going on here. Let me get this everything tweeted out. Sorry, I had to take care of a few things before jumping on today. Let me see. So why did that not change? It's odd. Okay, well, let me just update that. Or give me 1 second. 1 second here. 1 second. All right. Yeah, so I'm really excited about talking about today's topic as soon as we we kind of update the state of the market. Um, oh, there we go. Here we are. We are here. Okay, so that's good. All right, that should be good. Okay, good. So yeah, so I hope everybody had a great trading day today. So today, sorry, I was just looking at Facebook here, trying to see what was going on after hours. After they talked about doing their cryptocurrency, I thought maybe it would be gapping up a lot higher, but right now we're just going to kind of keep an eye on it and see if it gaps tomorrow. As for the state of the market, let's take a look. All right, let's take a look at. We've got the monthly chart. We have green month so far, right? So last month we had the bearish engulfing month, right? Which is, having, two red months in a row is actually pretty rare, despite, some follow through sometimes. So we had a red month here, pause month, and then another red month. But after that, red, kind of doji, double red right here. But it was inside month, barely did anything that kind of came back around. So what we had last month was this bearish engulfing month, and then this month, we're already halfway through it, but we came, right through, and we closed above 50% of the range, right? And so at this point, so far, the month obviously is, bullish. We closed, plus 11 points on it so far. What was really interesting, what kind of got everything started was how the weekly chart, right? So we had this open gap on the weekly, which is very rare. So we're all the way up here. We're looking for opportunities to short into that to start filling that gap, and that finally happened in this week right here. Right, filled the gap. Right, kind of came back up a little bit, but that level was really critical for a couple of different areas. Right, so here we basically opened in the gap that week. We tested it a bunch of times this week. It was the high of this week. Right, when we finally pushed through it. Right, that was kind of the big move right there. So right now, one more day left in the week. It looks like we're going to get like this kind of doji spinning top week, unless we have some crazy bullish day or even a big reversal day tomorrow. But the point is that this is no longer. Remember, it was setting up as a shooting star, kind of like this type of setup, but never is so far looking like a spinning top doji. So, and it's green. So we'll see. This could be a nice measured move into next week, possibly up to the upper Bollinger Band on the weekly, right? So on the daily, right, looks like it's setting up like kind of a morning star type thing up here. Now it did this earlier, right, back up here, and then ended up being actually a bearish, kind of signal, right? So these the morning star reversals only work really, here. It's pretty close to a morning star. At the bottom of a trend, right? So it's a trend reversal pattern, so not a trend continuation. So we'll see. We're getting pretty close here. Could potentially, work its way up, maybe pop out of the cloud tomorrow. It's got a ways to go to get there. That's like, it could easily do it. It's only 20 points away, really. So it could do it for sure. The spot a little bit. If we go to the SPY real quick, is a little bit closer. Oh, let me see. There it is. So look at that. Look at the SPY on the cloud right there. So that is really, it looks like it's geared up tomorrow. If we kind of open and then push. This, that 290 break tomorrow on the SPY on the SPY could be a very interesting, kind of area. So let's take a look real quick at the 5-minute time frame on the SPX. Just look at the price action today to see what happened during the day, right? So for Positive Trend newsletter subscribers, they all get, everything. You all get the these levels, right, tweeted out. Every night, and so you can kind of see, all these cool levels, the R1s, the R2s, those are your floor pivot levels, and we've done some free videos on that in the past. And then we look for price action around these areas, right? So for for day trading, and so my goal, with all subscribers is everybody knows what I'm looking at, and can easily be an independent trader, on their own, with or without my looking at how I do things. So that's basically what we saw here. And if you guys saw my 3-minute trend line video, right, you can see this at the open here. You have 5-minute, 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 right? We tagged the this daily R2 level, give you a shooting star right after that. Kind of pushed down, gave you a inside bar right here, and then that finally broke and closed the gap right off of the prior day's high, and then hit your R1 level, which is a nice target. Then inside bar. double inside bar on the fives, and then it kind of broke out again, and then gave a nice little push up before coming back down. And so little things I want to talk about tonight, before we kind of go forward, is like here, right? So you kind of have this tweezer top right here, and it's like, well, other than using kind of the midline between your R1 and R2 levels, what are some other possible things that could help influence a decision to go short here? And that's why I want to talk about futures, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So basically, here, this is kind of just overall big picture of the market, how we got here, where we're at, type stuff. So here you can see basically we have this channel. Look, I mean, it's pretty amazing, right? If you think about it. So this is our lows back here in 2016, right? Kind of worked its way up, and you can see that it's just the steady, you buy the dip pretty much anywhere, and it was kind of worked out really well. And then it kind of came into 2018, and then just kind of volatility started to pick up, right? And so look at this. I mean, this is like you can almost take a picture of this and frame it, put it on your wall, and be like, I traded through this, right? Because it is pretty incredible, right? When you go from here to this, right, in like a year and a half. I mean, it's really pretty incredible, right? That that we're in this. So anyway, but you just got to do what you got to do. So we do our technical analysis and we analyze, right? And then we make sure we're comfortable with what's happening. So when we go into a trade, we're not like going crazy, right? Losing our emotions and all that stuff. So this is where we're at. So this big channel here has really worked, kind of throughout the throughout the year. 2018, and the bottom of the channel worked too. So see how it came all the way back down to it, right? Tagged it again, then finally broke, and that gave us these blue lines here, which is our pitchfork level, which we tagged off of that 2016 low, and then that 2016 that we can see here, and then kind of gave us this macro picture of what the what's going on in the market. And so we kind of came back up, got back into the channel right here. You can see how it kind of hung around there, kind of was trying to think things out, and then finally broke through, got to the median line, then back down again. You can see how these correspond with your fast stochastic levels. And then kind of came back up here to this midpoint line between the median and the upper pitchfork. And then so never, granted, set all-time highs, took out these levels, but found a lot of resistance there. Came down, undershot the median pitchfork, and came back up here to this reaction line. So remember the Andrews reactions line. We have our line, backtrace back to your action line, then bring it forward to your reaction line. So you can see we're kind of hanging out here a little bit. So tomorrow, the next couple of days should be pretty interesting to see how it wants to handle this zone. To me, it looks like a little bit of a bull flag, and I think we're probably going to push, honestly. So, but at the same time, though, I wouldn't be surprised if we did at least kind of trace it down and maybe kind of got back to this 2820 level. So we'll see. But this is where we're at. So very, very interesting. So we'll have to go in tomorrow and kind of see what the price action is, what it gives us tomorrow. So just remember, it's Friday. So if you're trading options tomorrow, think about next week's options. Kind of going into into the close and stuff like that, because if you have the daily options, you don't want to get assigned, right? That's never a fun thing. So always remember your next week's options there. So all right, so that's pretty much that on the state of the market. So this kind of leads us really kind of easily into the ES, right? So the ES is your S&P futures, and we just opened a new issue, right? Which is like your September 2019, right? These things go, essentially, every several months, right? So you have like here, kind of came into we were in the the June, right, type levels. So we closed out here, and then we just moved into September. So pretty interesting stuff. So June closed out. So July, August, September, basically kind of quarterly type thing. So so what that's going to do is it's actually going to give you a little bit of divergence. So you kind of get used to, a lot of times the S often maps almost directly with the SPX, right? So we were at 28.90 to close, and the futures are only up. Here you can see like $2, right? But it's it's above now. What is it? Almost like 5.2901. Yeah, like almost 10 points, right? So it's going to kind of mess things up a little bit, right? So, but it's all good, right? It is what it is. So why do we look at futures? Why are futures interesting? And so I'm not a futures trader. I would like to sometime. I would like to. I'm very interested in trading commodities. And I some friends of mine really trade futures and they love it. It's just kind of pure price action type stuff. For me, I'm do just as just fine with SPX or SPY trading options. But you can do you can do very well with the with the ES too. So, and apparently they have these new like ultra minis, or not the E mini. What are they called? I thought they were called minis. These are the E minis, and maybe they're like super mini. I can't remember, guys. Sorry, but the new ones are a little bit cheaper, right? And so you don't need as much leverage and all that stuff to trade them. So, but what they do is the big difference between this and like trading SPY or SPX is that they, they trade throughout the night, right? Now SPY is, starting to trade. You can kind of trade it now like almost like all the time now, but the futures are pretty much going, and they trade on the weekend, right? They open on Sunday and they trade into the into the week and all that stuff. So and then through the night, and so there's like a weird little block that they don't trade right after the close, like for 30 minutes, and then they open again, and then they close again, and then they open again, right? It's kind of weird how they do that. So it gets a little bit confusing with their pricing, but why would we care, or why do we care? Why if you guys follow me on Twitter, why do I always tweet out what the futures look like? Well, because since the futures trade throughout the night, this gives you a really good look into what the setups are going to be kind of going into the next day, right? So, and you can see like a lot of other cool stuff too. Like, so if you trade SPX, right, so you go to SPX, what don't you see here? What you don't see here is volume, right? So on the for whatever reason on the S&P index, like they don't show volume, right? Whatever it is, and just is what it is. They just don't show it. So you can see it on SPY. So SPY is really cool, but ES, you can always see your volume move, and you can see even just with looking at that background level, it forms this volumetric bar right here, which is served as support. So when we see that, right, when we see the futures are hitting these, this kind of long-term volumetric support level, that is something that is interesting, right? So when we go just to the SPX, if we go back here on the 3rd of June. Okay, this doesn't really tell us anything. Yeah, there's a little bit of support right here, right? But do we know that that's volumetric support? Do we know how much volume was here? We don't, right? So, but here, we could see that there was a lot of buyers there. So if you guys like the supply and demand type trading, it kind of gives you a little bit bigger zone, and this is where the the demand was, right? And it pushed it up. And so, so that gave that move right there, and you can see that very, very clearly on the ES. And so that does help you position not just for swing trading, but for day trading, because we know that if if we're holding this, we're going to look for pullbacks intraday, and then look for entries, right? And so you can see this bar right here was very, very clearly very strong, right? So a 41-point bar, kind of after this reversal, and just by looking at the ES, you can see that kind of fell in that support there. So there's that. Let's take a look at the SPY real quick and just see what it looked like on the 3rd. Similar, right? So at this point, and I know you can see a lot of lines here, but at this point on the 3rd, we didn't have that automated bar that showed up there. All we have is we can kind of use these volume bars right here to show that there was some support there, but it was like pre-calculated in on the ES. So really, really interesting stuff there. So what else? How does this help us day trade? Well, that was one way to do it, right? So this shows us that if the trend is up, on the ES, then we can look for entries intraday on the SPY or the SPX if we're trading there, right? Especially with options. So from there, right? What else do we do? So what do I like to do at the end of the night? So at the end of the night, I like to tweet out what the futures look like. I'd like to put a trend line in there to see how they are moving, right, relative to the, relative to the rest of the night. And so that's what you can see here. I draw trend lines here, and then look what happens. So this was just real quick. This was last night. Okay, so you had this trend line going up here, and then suddenly the price action starts changing, right? And so at this point, you could see there was already, something going on, right? And then this started happening right here. This was that last night. There was like that oil tanker got, shot down like outside of like Oman or something like that, and they're blaming, the Iranians and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, well, whatever. The point is that the trend was changing already, right? And so you can see that with the futures, right? But how's it going to affect us the next day? Well, we know already that with this, kind of this drop here, that the oil futures were going up too. So you can look at your other futures and see that kind of plays into the next day. And so what we do is we just kind of continue on, right? And so when we hit kind of like these new levels, right? This is already, 2 in the morning right here on the futures. We can use a lot of the tools that we normally use intraday and see how that reacts on the futures contracts and how that affects what we're looking at on the SPY and on the SPX. And so this line right here, I just kind of wanted to show you. Let me remove this right here. Okay, so this line right here, in the night, this is kind of like the recovery level. This broke the highs right here, and so you just like we do our trend line, so we put that right there. So kind of going into the morning, right, we're already seeing that it's holding support, right? A little bit of consolidation here through a volumetric level, right? You can even see the volume profile behind it, how much volume was at these levels, right? That's why when we got through that, see this big bar right here? There was a gap, there's an air pocket. We kind of broke right through it, and then we started to find some resistance in some of these, these volume levels here, and then continued. 1 second. Okay, cool. So so we got that move, right? And then we kind of pushed up again, right? So what does this do? What does this tell us? Well, okay, so going in today, we've got some other tools that we could use, right? We had the volumetric level, so we kind of broke through that, right? And then we had the cloud, right? So we didn't see that, right? We don't see that on, well, let's take a look. So let's look at SPX. Okay, so SPX, what do we have going into today? So we had nothing, right? So the cloud was down here, right? We gapped way above that cloud. That doesn't give us a lot of clues into the movement other than just following the price action itself, right? Let's look at the SPY. SPY is probably gonna be a little bit more because you get a lot of pre-market action, right? And you could totally use SPY and you could to evaluate for the open and everything like that. And here it is, like you can even see it right here. We had some cloud here. We had this nice breakout of the cloud, and that was kind of like a key to potentially try to scalp long here. And then you had your your trend line then broke down as well. So you can use that too, right? So it gives you a lot of good data, just not as consistent data, right? So gap, really really tough to see. But ES, you get a lot more fluidity as you kind of move into the open. So real quick, just want to show you one more thing here. Okay. So you can see where all the volume really starts coming. That means the market is open, right? And there's all sorts of other stuff with futures too, like what the banks do and how they manipulate it, right? So they can drive the market a little bit. And some, the one thing I like about futures too is that the name is futures, like kind of gives you a little bit of heads up of what might be happening, right? So if we can just take this trend line and we continue it out, right? Here. Okay. So clearly the trend was still up, right? Going into the open. Right, so let's take a look. So here we were, kind of pushed up right here. It came back down. Where did it come down to? It came down to the trend line, right? And we talked about this, how we started out the week. We started looking at pullbacks to trend, so we can determine trend, right? And so that's what we got here. So pull back, one attempt at the breakout through the cloud, another pullback to the trend line, and then into the open. So what does that do? What does that tell us? So here's that first bar at the open. Try to get below that trend line and failed. So what does that tell us? That the open is bullish, right? So whether you trade futures or not, as you start, and it goes fast, but as you approach this kind of 28, 91 level as it broke through, that's why then you transfer it over to the SPX because it all comes together, right? Because the market makers use those futures to gap the stocks, right? And that to gap the markets if there's some action, going on, right? And that it just is what it is. And so so there we go. So here it is. So that prior futures pullback ended up being a bounce, right? And that reflected here in the SPX, right? So now we can look for bullish entries, right? So it held the R1 levels here, both the monthly and the daily, and that gives you your push, right? And then just two belt hold bars too, and then it held the daily, and then the prior daily high, and then continue to push. So it went all the way, and we have our targets because we know our R1 levels and R2 levels and all that stuff. We get more into detail that in the newsletter for private newsletter subscribers, and in the private Twitter feed for newsletter subscribers. But I just want to kind of illustrate that and show you how that kind of can translate over. And so it's really, really critical, right, to understand that, know your price action, and know how some of the key indicators work, like your cloud, right? And you can use moving averages and things like that. But if you if you want to have confluence, you could look at your Fibonacci's on your ES and just find those patterns that can carry into the day. And you can even look at it intraday too. If you have an extra screen pulled up, you can see what the futures are doing, kind of longer term type stuff, and see what's happening, right? So here, activate drawing. We kind of bring that up here. Just see. I mean, it's a little bit high up there, but could hit that as a potential resistance point, down the line. And one more thing. This is the other thing I wanted to show you too. Is I remember we were looking at the SPX. Like, what was another reason that we would have shorted, right? So let's go back here. So another reason that we would have shorted. Let's take a look. There. Okay. Remember this? How it kind of came back down and pushed? Okay, yeah, a little bit of a tweezer top, kind of a midpoint line. Okay, cool. You could definitely trade that, SPX. But let's go to ES and see if it gave us a signal that made sense to go short there. It was all about this trend line. Right? Because it held, gave you that scalp at the open and the push, broke below the trend line right here, and then couldn't get above it. Right? So this trend line was huge, right? And relevant, right? And you also had the cloud too. It broke down below the cloud. But when it couldn't hold this, right, that was, a good signal to be like, okay, maybe I'll attempt a short here, on the options with SPY options or something like that, right? And that gave you that push, 2891, all the way up to 2884. So almost a 10-point move off of that. So anyway, that is everything I kind of wanted to touch on. I think it gives a nice wrap up to the week, of all the technical topics we touched on. Wanted to talk about trend this week. Used VWAP to continue to talk about trend. It showed some Fibonacci relationships even with VWAP, and showed some examples yesterday, trading, some key, some of our key stuff that we like to look at, in the Twitter feed, and then today just kind of wrap up, to show how futures are. So hopefully you guys found this week helpful and everything that we kind of went over here. And at this point, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those into the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can. Hopefully wrap up by 10:30 or so, or whatever, the earlier the better too, right? So everybody can get a good night's sleep. So just so you guys know, I will be trading live tomorrow morning, for private newsletter subscribers. I was thinking about doing it through YouTube, but I might do it through Zoom. I don't know. I still have to figure something out there. So this way, what we'll do is we'll get started early. We'll take a look at the market, see what the futures are doing, kind of going into the next day, or kind of going into the open, and then we'll look for our key setups: 15 orbs, 60 anchors, and all that sort of good stuff. And then and then it should be pretty fun for the open tomorrow. So anyway, appreciate everybody for tuning in, and let's get through and see what kind of questions we got and all that good stuff and chart requests. So Call Saul, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for being, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Casey, what's happening? Good to see you. Harvey, how are you, my friend? Casey, so Lulu and RH made some big moves today. So if you follow on Twitter, right, so you know that, Lulu, was a 15 orb. And anytime you have something that's gapping on news, we add that to our 15 orb list, right? And so, so this, right, is the 5-minute chart. So let's take a look at the 15. So here we are. So the 15 is kind of key stuff, guys. So your key price action. So whenever you have these big gaps, right, you look to trade price action around these levels, right? So the reason we like the 15 orb is because most of the volume happens in those first 15 minutes of the day. The bears and the bulls have put their levels in, right? And we look to trade breaks of that. And so what we can see, though, it was really, really nice, was this inside shooting star bar. So that breakdown below there, that kind of 177.50, ended up really, really pushing right there below the 15 orb, right? So 174, a nice point off of that. Then it gave you an inside bar, hanging man, and then it broke down again all the way down to the 172, and then chopped for the rest of the day. So so Lulu, that's a good game plan that we had today. And then RH. Same. So again, usually that first drop is a good scalp. And so let's see what we had here. So here's your level. Here's your level right here. So it kind of made sense that it reversed too. If you guys saw, I tweeted out earlier. See this zone right here? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the daily and show you what happened. So this, and the orange is the Bollinger Bands. 50 is your 50 moving average. This is your 200 moving average. Okay. So and these are your 5 and 10s. I thought I cleaned all this stuff up. I need to save that as a like a setup or something. Load. There you go. So anyway, those are your levels there. So see this kind of grayed out box. So that's your resistance zone right there. So it gapped down last earnings, right, and couldn't get above over several days. Couldn't get into it. Started getting into the gap, but couldn't get above this level, right? So when we gapped up today, it was really, really key for it to try to break over that, right? Because if it did, anybody who was short and still short here, or was short here and just put their stops up here, is getting caught. So that's sometimes you could find some momentum moves off of that, and it never did it. It kind of gapped and then pulled back. So you can see here, this price level 1 and level 2 are your 15 orb levels, and look what happened when it broke down below that 15 orb today. So this is what it did, right? 15 orb. Okay. Nice initial drop, 115 down to 112, 3-point move, right? Bear flag here. Retested that 15 orb level, and then chopped around a little bit, but eventually worked its way down, right back down to 110, and ultimately down to 109. So really, really strong, strong moves on that one. So nice, Casey. Session, yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see. So Diz, gosh, so much action today. So Diz, amazing 6-point move on Disney. What a strong stock. Goodness gracious. So you can see, kind of these levels are really important, right? So I don't know what was going on with Disney, if it had a 15 anchor 68, it had like some upgrade, I think intraday, but you could still use those levels later, right? So this gives you, let's just say, we use the 15 orb because it did gap up, right? Tried to get over there, probably not a good area to go in, right? You look at the price action. Here's an inside bar. I probably would have attempted to go along there and then held. Once we finally broke, then it did it, right? So that's 139 all the way up to 141. So a nice move on Disney with that. And then and WWE. Oh yeah, so nice move with WWE today. So good session, excellent stuff, and I hope you caught that. So very, very nice. Held volumetric levels too, then break. Love it. Raphael, what's going on, man? Good to see you. SMDC4S, what's up? Yeah, no, Disney is such a monster, man. It's getting huge. Colossal, some serious profit taken in Lulu, absolutely. Samir, what's going on? Good day. Good. Disney 15 orb, rocking it on Disney 15 orb. Good job, man. Really proud. That's, it makes me happy. So, Harvey, what's going on? FDX and Uber. Yeah, how's our FedEx doing? Oof. It's doing well. Let's see. So, yeah, that just was basically just a kind of gap go and just kind of, move it over. That's actually very bullish. It's bullish, Harvey. So let's see. So we talked about this last night too, that it is setting up for potential earnings run. And again, it could pause a little bit and then kind of work its way up. It might get up to 170 before earnings, but very, very strong. And let's take a look at Uber. Yeah, it's good, right? So I like that it left the gap down here. Right, and it's because it still has to get over this 40. Well, it's got to get over this 44.50, but then it's got to get over 45. These levels up here, right? If you can do that, then I think you're good. But at this point, just trade the price action, right? See what makes sense. But very, very bullish bar today. Kicking bar too, because we ended red and then gapped up green, and so a lot of covers there, and then then it just got interested. I think there was some other stuff tweeted about it, by some other news out there. So it does look interesting. Could get some follow through, Harvey. That 44.50 is going to be a key level. So, call saw. I'm in Diz. Let's go. Nice. Get some. Shirley, how's it going? Good to see you. Andrew, how's it going, my friend? Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. You're doing great, man. Just stay focused, and tomorrow will be a good day. Don't forget it's Friday. Just let the setups come to us, and we'll rock it. Call what's going on? Nvidia, nice pullback after hours. Absolutely. So here's Nvidia. Really, really, if this pulls up nice, just remind me in the morning on this one too, if you tune in. But yeah, it's an inside day, right? It would have been a little bit cooler if it was like a red inside day and then gap down, and then we could reclaim that range, right? That would be really, really sweet. But let's take a look at what it's doing after hours, right? So it's gapping down hugely on, let me see if I can get where we're at on this level. Yeah. So so we should gap below it, which is great. So anybody who's in it today, on a green day, is probably going to dump it at the open. And then hopefully we'll get a reversal, because this is gapping down based on Broadcom or whatever it is, AVGO. So they had they're not doing so well right now. They were at 280, and now they're down to like 250. That's a rough night right there. It's better than Google that one night. Remember when it was down like 100 points? I'm sorry. That was a rough night. But here's AVGO. So it's bringing down some of the semis, kind of like the AMD. Let's see what AMD looks like real quick. Yeah, not good. So I think Nvidia has AMD might. Oh man, tomorrow should be pretty funny. So with these, let's see what these do tomorrow. Yeah, I can't believe they bear down in such sympathy on it. So this might be a YOLO trade. Anyway, Karen, how's it going? Good to see you. Manoj, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Jason, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. Jamie, what's going on? Good to see you. Heather, how are you? Good evening. Karen, how are you? Odie. Oh, micro. Thank you, micro. I was like, why am I not like mini micro? Micro. Thank you. Session, how's it going? Good to see you. Let's take a look. So we got Coop. I know you already had a request earlier, but yeah. Gets late. It gets late. Wow, look at Coop. Nice pull back to the cloud, right? And then just worked its way up. I mean, so far so good. Just be careful. I mean, depending where you put your pivot, maybe check your trend. Right? You kind of have this here. You go to your high. You go to this pivot here. So at this point, it's kind of breaking down a little bit on the short-term time frame, but it might hold this cloud and just be just fine. Tomorrow. Hourly looks okay. I like inside bar up, guys. This is why we like inside bars, right? So here it is. It's so easy, right? Here's your inside bar, and you trade the break to the upside. And again, it doesn't work every time, right? But but stocks that are moving and like to move, it could happen, right? That's why we like it on the fangers. If we get an inside bar that's decent, right? They're very tradable, especially double inside bar. But here we go. So that broke to the upside for a nice move today on Coupa. Yeah, that does look bullish. So spinning top, but it could be kind of interesting on that. GLD. Grab a sip of water. Boom, boom, boom. Looking good. Filling some gaps. Of course, leaving gaps, gold gaps around all over the place. So just be careful. You got 1, 2, 3. It could, pause a little bit and turn back, turn back. But you have 120 as potential target. If it fails, right, then it might work its way back down, fill some gaps, and go back on the cloud here at like 122. So just be careful of that. NetPry, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. KO, yeah, let's take a look. Okay, yeah. So that was your bar right there. It was like, okay, overbought on the RSI, right? And then over the upper Bollinger Band. So nice, shorting opportunity. And then here, just kind of like chopping around in this zone. So as long as it can hold today's lows, right? It could start working its way back up. Let's see how it looks there volumetrically. So here we are. It looks a little ugly. And to me, it seems like it would at least want to test like this 50.25, 50 and a quarter. And if it could hold that, then I think it could get some more work to the upside. So, Nikolai, what's going on? Watching, having some popcorn. That's awesome. Good to see you. Call saw AMD YOLO at 30. Absolutely. Jason Luke, can you take a look at Netflix, MU, and AbbVie? Sure, yeah, no problem. My pleasure. So let's see. So we'll look at Netflix. Yeah, so Netflix is looking pretty interesting, right? So one thing I am looking for is maybe just like this stochastic to get a little bit lower. I like how it's holding this crazy support zone forever, right? Like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th time it's kind of hitting these levels. So there's volumetric level right here at this 332. So we'll look and see what the stochastic goes down there. If it looks like it's going to start curling back up, then we'll look maybe to for a potential swing on that. MU. Very interesting. Let's see what it's doing after hours here. Oh, it is got a little bit of support right here at this 3250. So let's see if it holds that for a little bit. Oh my goodness, this is awful. And then so let's look at it though real quick and see where it's at. Wow, what am I doing? So it's here. If it's gapping down to like that level, yeah, I'm gonna see if it finds some support there at that. What did I say? Like 3250. I mean, yeah, it should be okay. Just saying it shouldn't be that affected by it. But MU is pretty rough stock. This might be one that doesn't recover until we see like a decent earnings report or something. So, all right, AbbVie. Well, this thing doesn't want to break out anywhere, does it? So we've been kind of stalking this one for a little bit. We have this this trend line from the kind of that huge level that kind of came down here. Yeah, so it's just kind of holding this. It is starting to poke above it, right? But it seems like just based on the stochastic, it might want to come down a little bit and then give your breakout, right? So at this point, it's just kind of like blah. So yeah, just be careful of that one. OD. Let's take a look at C's. Good trading today, by the way. Yep. So again, we kind of looked at this, kind of recent pivot was kind of breaking down, right? So we have this kind of lower level, but I do look at that stochastic right there is curling up. This could be very bullish. This could be very bullish, kind of coming in. So might want to retest these levels. So I like that. If it does, 32 is in, it could be in the cards. Very, very nice. Sarah, what's going on? Good to see you. And Lee Joey, how's it going on? How's it going? Yeah, so let's say, Beyond gave a double inside day. What? BYND. Oh my goodness, you're not kidding. Let me see. So it was a high 150. Okay, so yes, it gave like a double inside Harami bar. You could definitely, work to trade this. The only thing that happened here in the shadow is it got above that shadow a little bit, so it wasn't fully contained by this bar, but that's okay. This inside day alone is very strong, right? So indicates some potential movement on it. So just look to look to see how it handles like a break, right? Like so say A, B, it's possible it could break up a little bit and then kind of work down, would be my expectation. But we'll see. We'll see what price does. But yeah, look at those levels. Wow, inside day and beyond, unbelievable. That thing was going crazy. And and it held up actually really well after getting Tyson today. Like they were going to come out with that plant-based chicken, and originally it was really kind of, Tyson was gapping up, but Beyond was down a little bit, and it looked like it was going to really affect it, but it held up really well. So this is just a favorite on Wall Street. So definitely look for that break to the upside on that. CRM, let's see, up 6 cents. Exciting day, huh? This one does look like a double inside day. So that high there, 15, 32, 24, yeah. So double inside day on CRM, very cool. So that looks very interesting. So we'll see how that handles that. That could actually move. Might even consider like a straddle on it for like maybe next week. Let's see what those look like. Monthlies, they are 151. Either way. Straddle. Let's see what we're looking at. So about $5. Is CRM going to move $5? Possibly. By next week. Very possibly. Up here is $8, so that might be interesting to look for. Potential straddle on that. Nice catch on that. TTD. Let's see, TTD. Yeah, let's see how that's doing. That was after the double inside week. Yeah, nice move, right? So we had that huge move up, kind of like gap down, filled the gap. But now it's getting pretty constructive, so it's starting to work its way back up again. So so that does look interesting. UPLD. Okay, yeah, inside day on this one. Upland Software. Let's see how it looks at on the daily. Yeah, inside bar. I mean, it's doing its thing. It's got potential. I mean, just whatever. You can grab it there. Get your trend line. Get your high. The next pivot point right there. It's holding it pretty well. So, I mean, it's got some stuff, some good stuff going on with that. Lift. Lift, right, is all about getting over 60. And it is over it. So it got over it today. So cool. We talked about this yesterday. So this is starting to look pretty good. Look at that. And held above that volumetric level too. So yeah, I would look for, maybe an interesting move in lift, potentially to the long side. So, definitely worth keeping an eye on. So nice. Good. Nice charts. Session UMP. UMP. Let's take a look. Yep. So just feel kind of like bleh. To me, it's breaking down, from those key levels, right? Kind of did it here that one time, here. It's looking bearish. To me, I feel like it's going to get down to that 144. So something to keep an eye on. Call us all. Hope golf was good. Who you have for the Open, Rory here. One around by Rick. Nice, man. Yeah, totally. So golf was okay. It rained out, so we only got to do 3 holes, and then at least we got a rain check for it. If you do more than 4 holes, they won't give you a rain check. So we got to play, and I was actually playing pretty decent, and I was like, oh man, because we do like kind of teams and stuff like that. I was like, I think we're gonna win this, and because I was definitely playing better golfers, and it was then it rained out, so I was like, that's fine, but it was fun. It's always fun. It's such a beautiful game. Let's see what we got. Oh, and who? Yeah, Rory can do it. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, go Tiger, maybe. We'll see. Session STZ. Okay, yeah. Here comes Constellation. This has just been so like such a strange stock. So, but like here, I mean, it's starting to kind of break down a little bit, but hold on to some levels. Yeah, for me, it's just kind of hands off on this thing, right? This is just one I don't trade, but it's hard to really get a real read on. Let's take a look at the candlestick though and just see. There's weekly. Inside month so far. Weekly tried to break up and then came back in off the inside bar. I mean, it's holding, right? It's kind of hanging me right here, but it's holding on to the cloud. That's kind of the one big thing it's got going for it. So see if it holds on to that. If it does, great. It might push, but otherwise you might get a tail fail on that and then start working its way back down. Session Pan W and Uber. Palo Alto. Okay, yeah. I mean, it's working its way up. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I mean, just kind of make sure it holds its trend. Okay, held those levels, and build hold bar is looking good. Uber we looked at a little bit ago, but just kind of real quick, like let's look at the candlestick on it. It's a very bullish candlestick today, so let's see if we can get above that. That 44.50 is going to be a key level for it. Karen, what's going on? NatGas and NG, yes, my pleasure. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I was like, oh yeah. All right, let's see. So Natty Gas. Inside day. Downtrend. Oh, excuse me. Oh goodness, downtrend until proven otherwise. Right. So here's your low. There's kind of like your pivot. It broke out, tried to break out. So now it's kind of pulling back here. It's at some support. So again, I would just say as long as it can hold. Right. As long as it can hold the inside day, possible break to the upside. Could work. Session CMG. We talked about this one last night. So looked a little overextended, didn't it? What happened? There it is. Right? Upper Bollinger Band, tagged the upper Bollinger Band, came back in, bearish engulfing day. So we were expecting it, right? It was kind of traveling, what I call it, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 avocados, right? The 7 avocado, green avocado method. 7 in a row after that, you kind of expected to at least pull back a little bit. So, but it did. It gapped up, pushed, tried to hit 750, failed, back down. So still trending up, obviously. I was thinking maybe just see how it handles this trend line, right? If it can hold the 729. Then it could work itself up. Do you ever just get random hiccups? That's so weird. I think we can talk a lot. You get, I don't know, saliva and all that. Andrew, what's going on? Let's take a look at MA. Oh yeah, we looked at this, the other day, and looked like a potential bull flag that's happening. Excuse me. Goodness gracious, how do I have hiccups? All right, so looks like a potential bull flag that's happening, and but it failed to break out today. So you just have to treat it as a channel at this point. So does it get followed through to the downside? Possible, right? And if it does, I wouldn't play it right here because it's still very bullish stock, right? But if it does pull back and tags this kind of like 252, kind of level, or wherever this bull flag ends, right? I mean, it's not gonna go on forever, obviously, but imagine if it kind of came down here and then tagged this 246 at the bottom of bull flag. That's in the cloud. That's a really good opportunity to go long on that. So at that point, and then UGTA. Tough to trade with options, certainly. I like the inside day, how it tried to break it up. Looks like it's just kind of, still testing some range, right? Because they're both, confined by this larger bar. But, again, look for continuation potential. That inside day ended up working pretty well. Nice. Jason, what's going on? Baba, yeah, let's take a look. I thought this would have moved a little bit more than that, but you have an inside day right here. So So look and see how it holds out. It's very small inside day, so a break one way or the other should be pretty manageable. So a lot of people were really bullish on this. It kept gapping. To me, bearish. Why? Well, why not? Look at this channel. So see these yellow lines right here? That was a decline channel for a while. Tried to break out of it. It was a bull flag and it broke down, right? So what did we do? We came back up. We tested the bottom of that channel, and where are we? We're back down off of it inside day with a couple gaps below. So to me, pretty bearish on this. Just be careful with that one. So ZS, of course, anything could happen. It could break to the upside, right? ZS has just been like ridiculous. Goodness gracious, what a move on this thing. So here's your trend. Here's your prior trend line right here. Kind of held it, tagged the cloud, and then wow, nice tag of that cloud. That was a good swing trade right there. I think Trader Ammo did that one, but really nice, and they got some nice follow through today. So so that looks pretty good. And then Tesla. Oh, sorry guys. So Tesla. Let's see. Nasty bar yesterday. Couldn't break a low. Guys, these levels here. What is this? This 292. What am I talking about? This 209 level has been strong, right? So held a support here, and then they gap below it, right? Resistance, held up, came right down to it, and now hammer right at that level. So for the most part, Tesla's actually looking pretty bullish. So actually add that to the game plan for tonight. I really like how it's holding those levels. 1 second. Yeah, Tesla. Yeah, MU might get some follow through there. Maybe CG. Okay, cool. Nice. Very good. Samir, SPY, possible inverse head and shoulder coming. Oh, always appreciate your analysis, Samir, too, by the way. Thank you. Inverse head and shoulder coming. No crystal ball, but can't break cloud or bad news. Could send it over to the month. July with a bank to the upside crossing neckline. So let's see. So SPY. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, possible inverse head and shoulders. Yep. Then can break cloud. Yep. But a cloud breakout here, could be pretty bullish. Well, inverse head and shoulders, right, is bullish as well. So, so just keep an eye on that. But if it fails, right? We talk about it a bunch, right? Like if a nice pattern fails, chances are it's probably going the other way. So yeah, but good stuff. Nice. Thanks again, Samir. Raphael, Roku, thank you for bringing this one up. Up 11 cents. Seems like it's up to something, doesn't it? It didn't move like a huge amount. This could be a potential measure move setting up here, Raphael. So you have this, big bar here. Nice. I love these kind of pause bars that, especially if it comes off of all-time highs. This thing could push, man. I mean, this thing, who knows? It could be like 120. Again, you have this upward trend line right here. It could pull back to it, so a tail fail there could lead to like 100, and then it might retest 100 and then start working its way back up again. So, but pretty bullish candle today if you think about it, because this up move sideways, closed at the highs of the day, and real close to it with that northern doji. So it could be pretty strong. Session, I want to guess that there'll be a lot of new coverage of Luckin Coffee tomorrow, and I'm hoping this will drive Starbucks into the 85, 86. And then you're saying the 87.50s are very cheap. Cool, yeah, that's awesome. So I mean, Starbucks has just been on fire forever. So it's still trying. I'd look maybe one more push. It's still below this upper trend line, but if it pushes and can close above that upper Bollinger Band, I would look for a little bit of a pullback there. But yeah, other than that, your levels look good. Shirley, what's going on? ACC? Let's see what we got. Okay, yeah, it's starting to look pretty good. It is, because it's getting over that volumetric level. It's just, take its highs, draw a trend line. So So for the most part, it's been didn't break down completely. So as long as I can hold these levels, I think your levels look good. If that makes sense. So excuse me, ABC. I'm always shocked that there's actually a ticker that is ABC. There, broke through its volumetric level, so that's looking good. As long as it holds there, yeah, it looks productive. GDX. Why would it do that? All right, GDX. Header message held for review. Like, okay, it's a ticker with levels. Okay, so GDX, you can see I've analyzed this before. We looked at, I think we looked at gold a little bit earlier. So, yeah, starting to break out. It's kind of, it could work its way up to those levels. So, very interesting. DIS, of course, we looked at that a little bit earlier. Very, very bullish. CTL. A little penny stockish, right? But it is starting to make a comeback, if you will. So, yeah, look for continuation. That next big level is going to be like 14. SQ. Saw this on Twitter a lot today. Inside day up. So, decent move. AAL. Nice move. Watch out though. It is tagged into 1, 2, 3, 4. This downward trend line resistance. So it's kind of like a little, triangle falling wedge-ish type thing going on here. It's actually very pretty. This could be like sort of like a wave 5 that is finishing. So that level right here was pretty money to buy this kind of little dip. And then if it could break out, this could get very, very strong. It's got to get above this pitchfork and the volumetric, so 3650, 3680. And once you can do that, I think it's hopefully smooth sailing on that one. And then we'll take a look at DBX. I'm not even gonna look at HMY. Maybe I thought it was HMNY. Yeah, DBX is doing the same thing, getting through the volumetric level. HMY. Yeah. 197. It's a gamble. Just a lotto ticket type thing. So, and then Nugget. Yep, strongly against friends. So just see if it can start working its way back up to that pitchfork level. So very, very nice. Nefri, no problem, my pleasure. Yes, how's it going, man? Good to see you. The Machine Polonaise, thank you for tuning in, my friend. Great stuff. Yeah, I know, get some rest, right? Get a little sleep. Karen, yeah, let's take a look at CPST. Interesting. Yeah, looks like a double inside day right there too. Yeah, double inside. Oh, excuse me. LMP, remind me that hey, I gotta rest sometimes too. So yeah, so kind of big move. I kind of paused here after earnings. This type of thing I probably wouldn't mess with too much, but double it today if we can get over that 0.8099. Could start getting bullish on that. Let's take a look at BA. Nice one. I haven't looked at this one in a couple days, so I have no idea what it's been doing. But like a lot of stocks today, gave an inside day too. I think we're gonna get some moves tomorrow, so that should be interesting. And then FSLY. Fastly. Okay, yeah, just be careful. Right, it's got to get over that 2140 level, and kind of stay above it. So no problem, Karen. My pleasure. Merritt. Good to see you. Andrew, my pleasure. Sarah, good to see you. OD, Harvey, Jason, good to see you. Oh, real quick, we looked at DIS already. Let's just look at QQQ. Sarah and Heather and everybody. So let's just to see how it's going. Yeah. So here, nice move here, right? See that stochastic kind of like pulling up, right? Nice move, and then just a narrow range bar today on QQQ. So just something to think about. But what I do is a little bit farther away from its cloud break too. What I do like it is the channel, right? So it had this channel that was working on for a while, this green channel. This is coming back up, right? Held and still working its way up, right? Next key level to get through, right, is 188. So this is also a reaction line too. Not quite a channel, but pretty interesting stuff. So could work its way to all-time highs just based on that. So very, very interesting. So Good to see you guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Hope everybody has a great night's sleep, an awesome night, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Newsletter subscribers again. We're gonna go live through something, either Zoom or Join.me, and kind of just talk about the Open and go through the Open and take some trades if anything looks interesting. And that's it. So. Please, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, and also check us out on Twitter. All the links are in the description. If you really like us, subscribe to our newsletter, and we'll of course you'll be a part of a great group of traders, and receive the newsletter, which keeps you on top of the market. You'll get that every Sunday. So good stuff, and thank you again, everybody. And remember your risk first, and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.